Hey everyone, welcome back to Ask Joe. Got a special review today. I'm going to be reviewing season 2 of Luke Cage. As you can tell by the shirt. Um, this particular season, in my opinion, it didn't. It was still a good season. It was still solid. Definitely, my opinion, definitely more interesting than Iron Fist, and definitely more interesting than it was definitely more interesting than Jessica Jones season 2. I know a lot of the things people had with Luke Cage season 1. They said Luke Cage season 1 started off strong, but then toward like the last 3 or 4, like 5 or 6 episodes, it went downhill. In my opinion, this season 2 was the opposite. The first few episodes started out real slow, and then it picked up toward the end. To me, it just didn't have the same glare and it didn't have the same feel as the first one. In my opinion, and also my girlfriend, she started watching with me too. The music, it just didn't. It didn't get you like the first one did, you know. And then and not just the score, because some of the score music it didn't feel like the same Luke Cage, especially during certain fight scenes. And then the actual musical guests, it just, like I said, it just had the same feel as the first one. And I'm not trying to say it was a bad season. It's not. I still enjoyed watching it, but I just didn't get the same excitement out of the first season. But I still enjoyed watching it though. On to the characters. The villain Bushmaster. I hate when they try to do those sympathetic characters. When they be having those sympathetic villains, you kind of feel sorry for them. And I don't want to say too much because I'm trying not to spoil. I believe in not giving spoilers, but what this show is about, in my opinion, as I feel about this second season the same way I did about Black Panther. It was about legacy and the sins of the father. Well, Mariah's case, it was the sin of the grandfather, or the sin of the father. Either way, because it goes back, because the sins of Mariah, which is really the reason why Bushmaster is there. It really revolves around the sins of her father and her grandfather, which is why Bushmaster is even in Harlem. But the whole Bushmaster villain is just, he started off strong, but then for a few episodes, it's like he was a side note, and it flipped from Bushmaster to Mariah to Shades, and I have to give it to Alfre Woodard. She really played the role of Black. She went Black Mariah in this one. I give her this one. I gotta give Alfre Woodard her due. She really played the hell out the role in this one. But I just felt like it's like they tried to cram too much. At least with last season, they weren't trying to like cram Cottonmouth and Diamondback all together, at once. But in this one, you got Bushmaster, you got Shades and Mariah. It's like, okay, who? And then I just thought it could have. I would have rather them sat out a whole nother year to get it right than to just rush something out. I think the season was kind of rushed in my opinion. And I don't know. I just think the villain of Bushmaster. I enjoyed Diamondback more than I did Bushmaster, and a lot of people didn't like Diamondback. I personally, in my opinion, I didn't have a problem with Diamondback because he was kind of hokey. But you got to remember, Luke Cage was a blaxploitation comic, so the role of Diamondback, the way the actor portrayed it, kind of brought a little bit to light. That's why I myself I like Diamondback. Although in the Luke Cage universe, in the Netflix universe, Cottonmouth will continue to be the Luke Cage. I mean Diamondback. Not Diamondback. I'm sorry. Cottonmouth will continue to be the best villain in the Luke Cage universe. I just felt Bushmaster. It was so much more they could have did with him, and he differs from the comic book, as does Nightshade. You don't really get to see Nightshade as she is in the comic book. They stray away way from the way the comic book is. Like I said, I don't want to spoil it for those who haven't seen it. But Nightshade is totally different. Nightshade, like, is not even a person in the second season. Things with Misty Knight, if you saw the Defenders and if you saw the previews, she does get her bionic arm. If you saw the clips, and if you saw some of the clips in the previews, you do see Colleen Wing, and you do see them have a little fight scene together. Could there be a possible, when she's going to appear in season 2 of Iron Fist? So my thing is, are we going to see the formation of Daughters of the Dragon? That remains to be seen. And then I say, like, at the end of the season, you see one episode where Danny Rand pops up. I would have to say I kind of enjoyed seeing the character of Danny Rand in this one. He was a hell of a lot better than he was in Iron Fist. And like I say, just straying off topic here, Iron Fist wasn't that bad. It's just that Iron Fist just concentrated too much on character development. They spent too much developing characters from beginning to end, and that just dragged all throughout. And I really didn't care for the actor at first who they chose. And I liked him a little bit more in the Defenders, but when I saw him in this episode of Luke Cage, I kind of like what they did with him. They was kind of flirting with, Heroes for Hire, Power Man and Iron Fist. Power Man, which was referenced a lot in the series, in the show. So will they do a spinoff, Heroes for Hire? That remains to be seen, especially the way Luke Cage season 2 ended. It ends on a crazy note, and things happen, and you're like, damn, where do they go from here? Especially what happens to Luke. You're wondering, like, how the hell they gonna swing this, especially with the Heroes for Hire thing. Because I myself personally, I thought that Pop's Barbershop was going to be, the headquarters for the Heroes for Hire, but apparently it's not. Like I say, I'm not trying to spoil anything, but that's the way it's going. I did like how it really kind of, you do get to see Luke Cage's father, played by Reg E. Cathey, who passed away not too long ago. God rest. As much as I like seeing Reg E. Cathey, I would have loved to have seen Keith David play his father. For those of you who don't know Keith David, if you are a John Carpenter fan, if you've seen They Live, that iconic fight he had with Roddy Piper, yeah, that's Keith David. And for all you, all my listeners out there, if you're a fan of the OWN network, you know the show Greenleaf, yeah, he's Pastor Greenleaf. But for those of you who know who Keith David is, need I say more? He's like the Black King of B-list movies. Of B-list acting anyway. But I love Reg E. Cathey, but I myself would have loved to have seen Keith David in that role. But I did like to see how they brought a little bit more in the Luke Cage's backstory and introduced his father. And then speaking of other characters, Claire Temple. Now Rosario Dawson was interviewed, and she did say she's not sure what Marvel has planned for her. Because Claire Temple was the glue that brought them all together. From Daredevil to Iron Fist to Luke Cage, she was the one that kind of and even Jessica Jones. She was the kind of one that brought connected them all together. But you see, her character takes a turn in this series, so it kind of explains the question. Will we ever see Rosario Dawson again in the MCU, the Netflix Cinematic Universe? That's what I call the Marvel Cinematic Universe on Netflix. Will she ever appear again? Not for sure. You do see Foggy Nelson from Daredevil. They make a brief mention of Karen Page, also from Daredevil. They make references to the events of the Defenders with Matt Murdock and his sacrifice in the Defenders. They make references to that. Don't expect to hear any references to anything else in the MCU. Infinity War, nobody fades away. If anybody's wondering, no. I don't know. They don't really say exactly when this takes place. It all possibly could take place before the events of Infinity War, because Marvel Cinematic and Marvel Television really don't get along. So that's why you really won't make too many mentions of anything in any movies. But if any of the other characters, you do see Turk. Then again, Turk has been in everything. Like I say, it's a solid series. I just thought that the villain could have been done better. I just don't like how they mashed the villains up all, and it just flip-flopped back and forth too much for me. But it was still a good series. I'm not complaining about it. I'm not going to sit here and complain and say it was horrible. It's not. I still enjoyed the series. I pretty much binge-watched it all in one day, damn near. So, but like I said, solid series. I would say I would give that season 2. I would give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I can't go any higher than that, because it was just too many discrepancies, in the season. In my opinion, does it survive the sophomore slump? I believe so. Is it better than Daredevil season 2? No. My opinion, I still rate the shows Daredevil and Luke Cage season 1, both respectively. I got those tied for number 1. With Daredevil season 2, a close second, almost time for first. Then I would put in Jessica Jones season 1. Then I would put in this season 2. Then I would put in Jessica Jones season 2. Then I put in The Defenders, and I put in Iron Fist. That's just my opinion, because I was thoroughly disappointed with Iron Fist. Like I say, it just built on characters too much. I was disappointed with The Defenders, as a lot of people was. Matter of fact, I think Netflix and Marvel announced that there's not going to be a Defenders season 2 for a while, if ever. But this is my review for Luke Cage season 2. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Still a solid second season, but I thought it could have been a hell of a lot better. Maybe we'll see something different in season 3, if there is a season 3. Okay, this is my review for today. Stay tuned for my next reviews coming up. You're probably going to be seeing reviews for the movie Upgrade, and definitely one for the movie Ant-Man, which should be out in 2 weeks. This is my review for today. See y'all later.